Ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Perks players of the Pro Perks podcast, give them a hand! Number 14, GreyShamrock! Number 1111, the Silent Despair! And coming in at number 35, Foster, the Canadian!
Alright.
Well,
I like it. I like it.
that was impressive.
I guess I'll have to find some sound effects. But it was impressive. I agree, Silent.
Yeah, some air
all
horns
right,
over
welcome
that.
to the Pro Perks podcast.
Air horns, yes.
We
Yeah,
are
welcome.
back. Grey,
We are back.
bring us in.
Grey, I will bring us in. So, it has been, how many months? I think 9 months since we've done...
I think when last time we recorded,
Yeah?
I was just graduating elementary school.
I was just
A
conceived.
big boy now.
You're
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah.
But you're still a Toys R Us kid.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Always have been, always will be. Goo goo.
All right. So
And-
we are back. It's
Yes.
been a while.
Oh,
And,
actually, Silent
lots
was only
changed.
1,000 years old. Of course, death never dies.
That's true.
Or he, well, for that matter, I don't know if he ever lived, but Silent is now, I think, 1,000 years older now. So, happy 1,000th. Or I guess happy second
Sounds all
1,000th.
weird and
I didn't,
love it.
Wobbly.
I didn't mean to call you an old man, Silent. My bad.
Hold on. I want to bring up a point here.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead with your vocabulary.
Every single day you
an
make
old
us
man.
feel like an old man.
Oh, yeah, with your old man diction? Yeah. Oh, God.
Listen,
You're so
I
from the
use-
90s.
I use a word like what did I use? So I said
Chastise?
chastise.
Yeah. Oh,
I said
ridiculous.
chastise, and you're like,
Ridiculous.
what are you, from the 50s?
Oh, ridiculous. And that was whenever I didn't know hockey had a third period. And he ended a call with Two-Shot just to come over and chastise me. Like, oh, Foster, I'm sorry you have to burn me at the stake like your people used to burn witches, but hey, I didn't know, alright? I'm brand new to the game. So,
I do
yeah.
feel we need to talk about that, though. Last time, last podcast,
Okay.
9 months ago, however
Yeah.
long it was, 1,000 years,
Yeah.
you didn't like me talking about hockey at all on the podcast.
Yeah,
when I
Lord of
talked
the
about
Rings
hockey, it
didn't
would be
like
like, oh, here we go. Here goes Foster. Since then, you've been into hockey a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah, I've chosen the path of hockey. I've left Silent's side that is against it because I know Silent.
Hold on.
Silent,
I don't
do you
think
like
Silent's against it.
Well, that is too much of a
More
strong
neutral.
word.
I don't know, they're for or against it.
Ah, fair enough. Well, I kind of left the lonely side of not liking it or watching it or wanting to talk about it because I didn't know much of it. And how did you get me started in it? Actually, I think you just talked about. I can't remember actually. It was like a.
I think a
last
little
November
bit
or
of it
December.
was the pack openings, because I know you were watching those for a bit before you started actually watching hockey.
Yeah.
But I started talking a lot more about hockey with you and what the game's like. You got a little bit more interested. We got watching some games. They were streaming it on CBC. You watched a few games. You didn't realize that the game wasn't over after the second period. You thought it was two halves, which was very confusing for
Yeah,
you.
I remember watching the game and the second period, and like, well, that was a good game. I mean, you can't win them all. And then I would look at like Google Now, which is like a launcher on my phone that gives you like your stories, and there was like the Canucks score from last night, and I can't remember who they were playing, but it showed like 5-3. I'm like, well, the Canucks didn't win. What kind of bullshit is this? Google must be doing something wrong. And I think I messaged you too, and I think you didn't even catch on there. I didn't
know what you were talking about. I'm like,
Yeah. So
I guess
went.
he must have been mistaken.
Yeah,
I let it go.
I went another 2 or 3 weeks thinking the same thing. Like, what the fuck is wrong with Google? And it was the
It was
funniest.
literally during a game.
Yeah.
I said,
Coconut Glow, right?
No, I was saying, I messaged you and I said, so, you watching the game? And you said, yeah. I said, so, yeah, it's 1-0 right now. And you go, I know, I watched it. And I go, well, yeah. So were you gonna You gonna watch the game? You go, game's over, Foster.
Yes, that.
That moment, I immediately hung up. I was talking to Tushon. Immediately hung up to go yell at you.
That was amazing. Funniest thing ever, man. Because it was January, and what a great way to start out the year by just having... It was like not knowing the Holocaust happened, and then someone telling you about it, and you're like, no way.
They did what? Someone needs to stop them.
Exactly.
It was quite the moment.
Yes. So, ever since then, I have made sure to watch the 3 quarters, or periods as they're called. Quarters.
Three quarters.
Periods. Well, if you count overtime...
That's pretty funny. They end at the 3rd quarter.
Don't even finish it. Just don't even. Well, I guess overtime would be that optional 4th quarter. You know what I mean? If they force it to go to overtime.
That's why we call it periods.
Yeah, it would make sense my way.
It just makes more sense.
Well, that's why they call pucks and not saucers. Because if I were in charge, there would be a lot of dinner plates being broken. You know, like, oh, did you see that saucer being passed from number 50 to the guy on the left? You know,
Funny
that's my
fact, you
talk.
can saucer pass the puck.
Like, I recently learned what a two-way forward is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we should stop with the hockey talk though. A lot's happened.
Yeah,
a lot has happened.
Oh yeah, over 9 months, nothing has ceased to exist, except my social life. That is gone down.
Okay, so I'd like to, I guess, catch everyone up. So, my channel has been doing quite well since the last podcast. I did weekly pack openings, which are always doing well on my channel. Started doing Halo videos with Silent. We did a few Halo videos together that I think went over pretty well. And Medieval Engineers just came out.
Saw that.
For us.
Very good video.
Which, very excited. Silent!
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You are one of the guys that I really want to play Medieval Engineers with. And hopefully, once multiplayer is out, we'll be able to do just that. But, upcoming games, aside from Medieval Engineers, is there anything that you are personally looking out for?
Is that still coming out this year?
Nah, just something that's been announced, I guess.
Yeah.
In terms of announcements, Witcher 3 looks good.
Witcher 3 does look good.
Actually play it.
Yeah. You know, that's actually something really big, because, not The Witcher 3, but games that are going to be announced. Because E3 is in June.
Yep.
And just recently, for us at least, I'm not sure when you guys are getting this, some of you might be getting this in the year 2017 and being like, oh, wow, what idiots. But recently for us, Bethesda announced that they're going to hold their first ever conference at E3. I don't think we've talked about this, Gray. I know Silent and I have talked about this a bit. Bethesda has... at length, absolutely. Bethesda's doing their first ever conference, which makes sense. They're not just, a developer anymore. They're a big-time publisher, releasing a lot of games, and I think that this is reason to get excited in the gaming community again.
Right.
Now,
before you
don't
go
get too excited. This isn't till June.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. I don't know...
If you're watching this in June, I envy you.
I wouldn't know, though, if... why haven't they held conferences before? Like, don't they kind of want to show off the games that they're releasing that year? Like, EA...
Bethesda is so secretive. Like, Skyrim was announced late 2010. I think December 2010. They're like, less than a year from now it will be out. Meanwhile, they've been developing it since 2007.
Wow.
So they had developed it for 3 years before they said anything.
That's an interesting cycle.
Which, 3 years?
Yeah.
So Oblivion came out 2006.
Okay.
They've been developing Skyrim 2007, came out 2011, which means a year after it was released, they were hardcore developing it.
After Skyrim I got this. So 4 years, 2011 plus 4, 2015. So it should come out this year.
I don't think it will come out this year. I would need a change of pants if they were like, "Hey, it's coming out in a month."
That'd be amazing.
It's out now.
Oh
yeah,
my god! I might die.
The game. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, if that was the case and it did come out this year, it'd be and I think if it were to come out this year, it'd be sometime.
Should say
holiday.
It's not. I'd say it's much more likely for a new Fallout game than it is a new Elder Scrolls game, because last Fallout game wasn't even developed by them. It was developed by I'm blanking here. Silent?
Obsidian.
New Vegas. What?
Obsidian.
Obsidian, thank you.
No.
So New Vegas was developed, was 2009, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've still had 6 years without a Fallout game. That's a long time. You have to imagine they've been working on something.
Right. Now, who's in charge of Elder Scrolls Online? Is that
That's ZeniMax Online.
and
Yeah.
they're partnered with Bethesda, right? I mean,
They own Bethesda.
oh, well, fair
It's
enough.
kind of
Wow.
weird. It's kind of weird because they're developing it. Bethesda's publishing it,
Right.
but they're publishing a game developed by the company that owns them.
Right, so would
Yeah.
they actually release another single-player Elder Scrolls if there's already like an online
I don't
one?
consider Elder Scrolls Online to
An
be
Elder
part of that. It's like Halo Wars. Like Halo Wars came
Oh,
out
fair
2008, and that didn't stop the cycle for Bungie.
Oh, good point then.
So that's how I consider it, at least.
Well, that wouldn't split. Oh, well, I guess yeah, you're right because it is two different teams. Well,
Yeah.
then, if it were to come out, like best case scenario, if it did come out like this holiday, it'd be a pretty big year. Just Cause
Oh,
3,
man.
that trailer, Catching Fire or no, Starting Fire, it wasn't a Hunger Games
Yeah.
trailer. It was, I think, like a Fire in You or something along those lines. That trailer was released today, and it's apparently holiday 2015. So
Yeah. This
And
year is a big
yeah.
year. I mean, they
Oh, it
delayed
is.
Arkham City, Arkham Knight, to 2015. It was going to be released in 2014, late 2014.
Mm-hmm.
It's now coming out in June. That I'm quivering in my loins to get. I love the Batman Arkham games so much. I can't wait to play it on a current gen console. That will be extremely exciting. They've also got The Witcher 3 coming out, which should be big. Dark Souls 2 just announced for current gen consoles,
Oh, wow.
which a little bit of controversy there with what they're doing as far as PC goes, but I'm not too familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm really still irritated with that.
really,
Yeah, so
So
what
Logan-
is the deal?
go on.
Logan is the problem is okay. Console version runs
Okay.
at 30 frames. And the problem is they set certain game mechanics to the frame rate, and a PC version gets around 60 can get around 60 frames. So one of the game mechanics linked to frame rate is weapon durability. And you lose weapon durability if you make contact with any object, including corpses, walls, or living things. So with double the frame rate, your weapon takes double the amount of durability damage.
Oh shoot! So it's kind of like what was it when they put? I think it was Star Fox when they started putting that on newer consoles. They had to fix the frame rate issue because the game was just like too lightning fast.
Wow.
Mhm.
They couldn't keep up. So because of the extra frame rate, things are just unmanageable.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Now, is that like a developer flaw, an oversight? Is that intended? It can't be intended.
In
That's
Dark
not
Souls
canon.
or in
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
No, that's in they don't consider it a bug just because it's part of the game's mechanics. So
Wow.
they're not fixing it.
That sounds terrible. What? And this is for PC, right?
PC only.
Okay,
It
so
might happen for the next gen consoles because next gen consoles will probably run at 60 frames.
hopefully, I doubt that. I mean, even an Elder Scrolls game would run at 30 FPS, and on PC has the modding community taken?
You can't
Part
do
in this?
anything about that.
Ah, it's
Mods.
terrible. Not like they can't mess
Mods
with
are
weapon
all
stats.
basically for Dark Souls 2. Mods are all just retextures of things.
Ah, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
You can't mod it to do anything cool or interesting. It's just, oh look, this looks different.
That's a shame. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if with Witcher 3, that's mostly going to be PC. I think they released the specs for it, and there was a meme. This is the only thing I know about it. Apparently, it's going to take a supercomputer to run, according to some of these people.
Well, I mean, when they put that, that's running at like the best settings that they want you to run it at.
Well, no,
Like
even the
optimal.
minimum was pretty high.
Really? What was
Let
the
me look it
minimum?
up right now.
Yeah,
Um,
you look that up because I'm curious. Because usually when they show the specs for games, or
They put-
when they show the footage for games,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that is based on high-end computers.
yeah.
So I'm curious what the minimum is.
They showed
Right.
a minimum and recommended.
Yeah, so the minimum would be, of course, Windows 7 or Windows 8. Luckily, this time around, a lot of games are getting love on Windows 8. So they need a Intel CPU Core i5, 3.3 gigahertz. So that's pretty beefy already. I think mine's at 3.3 gigahertz and it has a GTX 660 in here. System RAM should be 6 gigabytes. Their minimum graphics card should be a 660 or a AMD Radeon 7870. And then 40 gigs of hard drive space. The recommended, it's not too far off. It's a 3.4 gigahertz processor or an AMD 4 gigahertz, 8 gigabytes of RAM, so not bad. It's kind of like what I wouldn't say the standard, but that's kind of to be expected. GTX 770 or a Radeon R9 290, 40 gigabytes of hard drive space. So it's by no means a
Oh, an R9 290?
yes, a Radeon R9 290.
Dang it!
What was that your old one?
I've got an R9 270.
Oh, well, you could sell that solid
I
state
can't
drive.
even meet the CPU requirements.
Wait, what were the CPU requirements?
The CPU was an Intel CPU Core i7, the recommended that is, for 3.4 gigahertz, or an AMD CPU 4 gigahertz, and the minimum was a i5 3.3 gigahertz. So,
Alright, so I almost meet the higher end.
I barely meet threshold though for the minimum. Like I'm actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, my graphics card meets it fine. My CPU did not meet it at all. Mine's only an i3 3.2.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's one thing I really concentrated on when I was getting my PC. I didn't concentrate on the graphics card. That was really bad for a while for me. I concentrated a lot more on the processor, which I've got 4.1 gigahertz processor, which is kind of crazy. It is overclocked, but
Right.
it's still pretty crazy.
Now, did they? Of course, this isn't final, is it? I mean, when is The Witcher 3 coming out?
Pretty soon, right? The Witcher 3? I mean, I don't think it's next month, but it's pretty close. Witcher 3, May 19th.
Yep. So that's still like they have it there for a reason. I'm trying to scrounge up some arguments here. It could change, is what I'm hoping on. Like they could optimize it better within this time and May 19th. I mean, for all I know, I could release it on May 18th. But you know,
All the Witcher games for their time have had high PC requirements.
well, what about Crysis?
Absolutely.
I mean, let's. Of course, they're two very different genres, video games, but Crysis and 2 and 3 were all in that same category. They were extremely intensive, and next gen for that matter. They were ahead of their time in graphics. But let me actually look up the specs for the Crysis.
The specs were pretty high intensity, but people overhype it. Like, people still use that comparison. Like, oh man, can your computer run Crysis 1 at the highest specs? Which, Crysis 1 came out in what, 2006?
2007, I think.
Either way, that would be like saying back when Crysis was launched, man, can your PC run Half-Life 1 at the highest specs? I mean, it's been so long. Most computers should be able to run Crysis 1 at the highest specs. And it's 2015.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Now, I did kind of wow, this is actually very impressive for what they did with the power that they recommended. 4 gigabytes of memory, so that's 2 gigabytes less than Witcher already for the minimum. And a GTX 560 and an i3 core processor. So that's very impressive.
Is that Crysis 3?
That's Crysis 3. So I I overestimated it, so my bad. But it's really interesting though, the developer team that's behind Witcher 3, I believe. I think they're really taking it to heart to, like, they are making sure that they don't let any single critic down. And of course they will, assholes that are the general
We were talking about this. I'm about to get angry.
Yeah,
I'm about to get angry.
Before we do, Silent, did you play the last Witcher or the original one?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I don't know if... Yeah, here we go. The dev even said, "We don't want to release shit," explains philosophy of delaying release. I don't know why people are, like, they get uppity about games that are delayed, but nowadays, I
Here's
really
why.
hope they get delayed. Like,
Here's
especially
why,
with Assassin's Creed, Battlefield, I'd much rather them be delayed. And if they're not, I
Here's the
expect
thing.
something.
Here's why people are
fishy.
upset, though.
Okay.
One of the most criticized games last year was delayed quite a bit. In fact, I think it was delayed. It was supposed to come out in 2013. Came out, I think, spring 2014. Q2, I think. Like, early Q2.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That was delayed quite a bit, and everyone's like, hey, it's going to be a better game because of it.
Right.
And everyone's kind
Just
of just
because you
forgotten about
delay
it.
it doesn't mean it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah,
In
that's
fact,
silent.
the thing about Watch Dogs, the reason they delayed it is they said it felt tedious and boring.
And for that matter, it was.
Exactly. So that's the last thing I want to hear. I don't want to... Like, when they delayed Batman Arkham Knight,
Right.
they delayed it because they wanted to polish it and they wanted to add more content.
And they
At
did.
least that's the gist of what I was getting from what the developers were saying.
And did they?
If they said, hey, it's tedious, it's boring, I would be heartbroken.
Well, now, if they were to delay it a year ago, like 2013, and then release it 2014, and they said it was tedious and boring, a year is quite a bit of time for them to just kind of recreate not the campaign, but the mini games, the environment. But if it's delayed that much, I would have expected something better. But I'm not ragging on Watch Dogs. For the game it was revolutionary, and whenever they do the sequel to it, as they say they will,
I
hopefully they
don't
do.
know if I'd call it revolutionary. It wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. I wouldn't call it revolutionary.
I would say revolutionary, however, in the open world aspect. Of course, a lot of games are open world, but the interaction that you can have between just a single AI is impressive. And other than RPG
That's
games,
true.
I don't think many games have actually come that close to really making it feel visceral. Like, if you go play a Fallout game, especially New Vegas, those characters, even if they're AI, they have character. They have...
Yep.
They're solid things that you can poke, in other words. That's how it feels. But, games like GTA, especially Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, for example, they're just things you run over and that really fuck up your car,
Or, in my case, things that chase you and beat you up on the pier.
Yeah, that
in
was
front
hilarious.
of...
And then they double team you. Just don't even know, let's just beat up this Canadian.
Why
That's
were
awesome.
they... Alright, I don't want to talk about that. That was sad.
Well, here's one. Tom Clancy's The Division. It got delayed, didn't it?
The
to believe
Division? I think so.
I might be thinking of the wrong one here, but it got delayed, and it looks extremely detailed. Like, just him closing that door made my heart sink. I was... Oh, my God. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Being able to close the car door. Fuck, yes.
People always react about stuff like that at E3. They always react. They always pick something weird like that, and they go, "That's the thing that we're gonna hype up on Reddit."
Yeah, it's a door closing. Yeah, well, I think it's good, though, that people take in that much detail, and that, for that matter, the developer kind of focuses on that, because there's not a lot of games that do it as well as they could. For example, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed. With all the detail that's possible in Assassin's Creed, they don't really capitalize on it. Like, there's no full buildings that you can go into. Yeah, there's windows every now and then, but there's no full buildings that you can go in and, kind of snoop around in. That'd be really cool if you can go loot places, but hey.
You know what feature has been lost in video games?
The ability to run.
No, shootable windows, breakable windows.
Are you sure about that?
Most video games that come out now,
Okay.
you shoot a window and it doesn't break. Like, I'm talking, Halo 2 did it well. Breakable windows. Half-Life did it fantastically.
COD and Battlefield both did it amazingly, if I would say so.
But now, a lot of games are coming out recently. Destiny, I think, being the big one. Those windows are impenetrable. And it's not like they're supposed to be. It's not like that's their thing.
Yeah.
Because you'll be walking around Venus or Mars or Earth, and there will be shattered windows everywhere.
Yep.
You shoot a rocket at it, and that window doesn't come down. What shattered the window?
Yeah.
If a rocket doesn't shatter it, what shattered the window? Is there some kind of window-eating worm on all these planets that they're just not talking about? What's doing it? It's bugging the hell out of me.
It's
Why
also
can't we
what-
shoot windows
it's-
anymore?
Well, that's also the problem that they just tried to make Destiny an MMO, so you can't really have any sort of destructible environment in an MMO.
It's 2015. Destructible environments were introduced in the late 90s.
No. I'm not saying it's a technical problem. I'm saying it's just, oh no, that window's been broken for. Because if you break a window, you're breaking that window for everyone.
Yeah, I
and
guess.
That's why they can't do that.
I feel like
It's really the
Oh,
fact that they were just like, oh yeah, we need to make this MMO. No, you didn't have to do that.
So Foster's theory isn't so far off. There's some asshole out
hold
there
on.
breaking windows.
No, listen.
Foster can't.
There have been a lot of games that are primarily single-player games, but have had open-world multiplayer where you could break windows.
Such as
GTA.
If the world resets.
Well, yes, of course, GTA. I mean, but with 30 people, I mean, it's
The world. I mean, well, here's my solution for that.
okay.
Break the window. It registers for everyone currently on the planet. Someone new comes to the planet. Window's back where it was supposed to be. That's not.
simple.
That's something that. I mean, that's how they do it in multiplayer games.
I get what you're saying, but I think, especially with console games, they're trying to get every single ounce of power they can out of the servers.
I want breakable windows, damn it!
And
In 2015, it should be standardized.
If they have to register for a certain amount of players, but not the entire server, only certain area, or only certain players in a vicinity, I think that could be a bit. I think whenever you amount that with everything, with every other detail you can gripe about, I think that would kind of amount to some, they're using up a gigabyte for, fucking windows and doors and shit.
Rockstar's fine with it.
I'm sure they are, but there's still noticeable issues with the online features. And I'm not saying that's, it's to be expected. Whenever I throw a satchel charge at someone, it kind of has a delay to it. And I often blow myself up, both because I'm a dumbass and because I didn't really wait long enough, or at least it looked like I waited long enough. It's really
All right, how about
finicky.
this? Let me
And
give a
if they have
different
to
example than
If they
Destiny.
have to, keep every detail registered and just plot it out for every player, I think that could
Different
amount to
example.
something bigger. Go ahead.
Ghost Recon Phantoms. Most
Okay.
impenetrable glass, even though you're firing these.
Oh, but it's
high-caliber rounds at each
futuristic.
other.
It's futuristic, Foster. That's the thing.
But you can see shattered windows
Yeah.
in the buildings in
Good
that
point.
game too.
I'm just giving you a hard time, but you're right. In that case, there's a map where the middle of the fucking map is a flag, and there's nothing but glass fucking floors and a glass ceiling, and you still can't break that shit. That would be the coolest thing ever if they are taking the flag and you just shatter the glass around them. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But it's a free-to-play game, and they don't really put that much evolution into it. Speaking of
It's-
evolution, though,
it's in
Foster,
most engines.
I have the
the
game.
hardware is there. They don't need to do anything.
I have
it's
the game
built
that'll
into
solve their
engine.
issues. It's called Battlefield 5, and it's coming out 2016. And here was their line about it. Here's what makes it different. And this is coming from, I think, Jack Fraggs.
Is it
He
reload
said-
animations?
No. Oh, I wish you could check the mag. No, it's Levolution within Levolution. It'll be so great. You can really just knock those pillars over while you're knocking the pillars over. It's gonna be great, I tell you.
They're not going to allow them to release Battlefield 5. They're releasing a Battlefield this year.
Yeah.
See, that's
Fans
the weird
will
thing, though.
riot.
Who's in charge of Battlefield 4 Hardline? Is that Turtle Rock?
Yes,
No,
I
is
believe
it?
it is.
Well, there's two different, or I guess
No, it's fuck.
it's
Something with a
Digital
V.
Illusion, Visceral Games. That's
Visceral,
what it is.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, they have, I think, two different teams. They might have retired Sweden's DICE, right? Now it's LA. I
Yeah.
can't
Did
remember.
they? No. Did they?
I hope they didn't. No, I hope they didn't. Oh, you know what? I don't think they did. But nevertheless, let's just say there's two teams. One that's going to be dealing with, this side of Battlefield. I hope Battlefield Bad Company 3 comes out. That would be fucking amazing if DICE works on that. But I doubt it.
Unless they take it out of like modern war settings, I'm just not going to have any interest. I'm sick of any game that has a modern setting.
You know?
Oh, then can we talk about something I'm really excited about?
Yeah, go for it.
So Battlefield, I'm hanging up my Battlefield hat. I'm not too excited for next Battlefield game
What about Battlefront?
because
Battlefront?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah! Ah!
Star Wars Battlefront with the Frostbite engine.
That is going to be beautiful.
Oh man, Frostbite engine. So I'm imagining it's going to play like Battlefield 2142 a little bit, because that was their futuristic game.
Yeah.
And Battlefield obviously now runs on the Frostbite engine, which Battlefront is going to run on. Which it feels weird switching between Battlefield and Battlefront, very similar names, but
Yeah.
oh, I'm so excited. And they announced something recently that there will be a movie tie-in. Like, Battlefront won't be based on the movie,
Right.
but there will be tie-ins between The Force Awakens, the new J.J. Abrams Star Wars movie, and Star Wars Battlefront the game, which kind of interesting.
I love when games do that. Like, I don't mean to go off topic here, but I really wished Call of Duty Advanced Warfare kind of went on that with Kevin Spacey and House of Cards, but they didn't. I was really expecting there to be, and of course, mind you, it's a very short campaign.
Isn't that a difference of quite a few years?
Yeah, good point. Good point. But I was expecting a bit more of references, I guess, at the very least, of Spacey becoming a tyrant.
Scarlett, I'm not sure if you remember this, but you're the only one that I think might out of us. Do you remember, what was it called? Shadows of the Empire?
Oh, God,
the
90s games.
N64 Star Wars game? That had movie tie-ins with Phantom Menace, didn't it? Or am I mistaken here? I don't know. I'm probably the only one that played that game.
I
But,
played Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron was great.
That was.
But Shadows of the Empire, they went through a period where they were releasing great Star Wars game after great Star Wars game, and to this day, that's why I say Star Wars is better than Star Trek, because Star Trek has crap for video games, whereas Star Wars has so many great ones.
You know, I'm glad that they brought some of them back on Steam as well. But anyway, so I don't know who's developing Battlefront. That's DICE, right?
Yeah.
Then who the fuck's working on Battlefield 5? Is DICE Sweden and DICE LA splitting up?
I'm guessing because it is such a big company now that's going to be. Actually, hold on. Is it going to be?
Because there's Visceral, there's Sweden, and then there's LA. And I'm assuming then that Sweden is working on, or maybe it's an entirely different developer. No idea. They haven't really talked much about it at all. Like the screenshots
I
we've gotten.
think it might just be sharing the same engine. I don't think it's actually developed by DICE. I know that it...
No, well, here it is. Upcoming EA and DICE Star Wars Battlefront game. I'll look more into it, but from what they say...
I think it's a segmented EA developer. That, yeah.
So, as we all know, it's released by EA. Its developers is EA Digital Illusion CE.
Oh, so it is DICE.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow, they really. Well, anyway. So what does that mean exactly then? I guess.
Yeah, that's weird. I guess it would be half of the company who's working on the new Battlefield, half is working on Battlefront.
Yeah. So, at the very least, though, from what the information, the tidbits that we've gotten they're very scarce. Actually, I haven't really seen many outside of screenshots. I haven't really seen much information.
They've been real secretive.
Yeah, but quote, until EA officially reveals gameplay details in the spring, making Star Wars has proved reliable even before the movie leaks. So, unquote. So what I'm getting from VG247 here is that they're saying they're really staying independent without having to, use the movie to kind of heed their fans. I don't know, but what I got out of that was there's details in the spring. So boom.
June is going to be E3. I imagine they're going to have a lot to show there.
Oh my god! I hope Ubisoft reveals the next Call of Duty, and I hope that Visceral Games releases Evolve, and I really hope there's more DLC in all of my video games that are cosmetic.
You guys think that they're gonna release PC 2?
Oh no way, man! I've been waiting for GTA PC, but I hear that.
Don't make that voice anymore.
All right. Well,
that voice was awful. I don't know what that was.
It was anyway. It was the average gamer who's very pissed off about the cosmetic DLC in Evolve. Great segue here.
Okay.
Just whoosh.
That was a very forced segment. Segue.
Well, Foster, no one caught on to the DLC, and then you didn't catch on to the average gamer who's always bitching and griping.
I was making a joke about PC 2. It's a good joke.
Let me rephrase that. Not the average gamer, because that's very general, obviously. But just the vocal minority, I guess. I hope it's the vocal minority. I hope it's not every fucking gamer, but there are just a lot of assholes out there that take the Metacritic the Metacritic reviews and say, nah, I'm just gonna let other people form my opinions. They obviously haven't played much of it.
Well, all right, we were talking about this. I was actually going to get angry earlier about this.
Good.
There is a new trend in the gaming community where no matter what game comes out, if you bought the game, you hate it. You don't like games anymore. If you like a game, you're a scrub. You're not allowed to like games anymore. Games are bad, and you should feel bad for liking them because they did something that I didn't like, and you shouldn't like it either. So there. Now, my example is Evolve came out.
Okay.
And overall,
I have the
on Metacritic, judge Metacritic how you want, but you know the individual critics. In fact, I'm going to pick out my favorite reviewer. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to be looking up real quick what their score was.
Foster, I don't think Filthy Frank has a review site, so I don't think you're going to find him.
Oh, dang, I'll have to go to my second favorite then.
All right, Boogie it is.
Alright, so my second favorite would be Electronic Playground, or Reviews on the Run, which I've been watching these guys since I was a kid, essentially, and I trust them. I trust their reviews quite a bit.
Okay.
So I'm going to quickly be looking up if they have even a review yet for Evolve. But overall on Metacritic, it's 7.6 out of, or 76 out of 100. Which, that's alright, that's a good game, you know? That's not a bad game. 76 is nothing to be like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Rotten Tomatoes of video games, I would say, so that's pretty good.
User review, 4.9. If a game gets a 4.9, that's a bad game. In my opinion, if you give a game 4.9, that means it's borderline unplayable. That the game is broken to its core, or at the very least is just completely boring. I maybe not broken to its core, but definitely boring.
Silent.
I feel like modern games like Evolve that have had these guys working on it for the past few years, their blood, sweat, and tears going into this game, giving it a 4.9, that is such a undeserving shot.
Yeah.
And that is the trend that the gaming community is going in, is let's trash a game for one reason. For Evolve, it being the DLC. Now, why don't you go over that while I try to look up the Reviews on the Run score for Evolve?
Alright, Silent, did you have something to say?
No, I was just disappointed it didn't have... I feel it didn't have enough monsters. 3 was nowhere near enough. 5, I think, would be more appropriate.
I would say so. I agree.
I mean, it's a multiplayer-only game.
Yeah, you got to get a lot of diversity. And now that you mention that, Silent, I have noticed a lot of games have been a bit scarce in their... They're like an inch thick and a mile wide. They're not really covering anything that they should be. I don't know about characters, though. From the beta and then the pre-release footage, the characters, the players seem a bit like you can play as more types than just the medic or the brute or the tank.
Yeah. Like
there's certain specialists within them, and that's cool and everything. But if I wanted to play as a specific character that has certain traits, I would go play Alien Swarm from Steam for free. But Evolve over here got the user reviews are mixed. I took a look at them the day of release, and I got 5 pages deep, and most of these people had like 10 minutes to an hour played, so take it with a grain of salt, really. But it was all about DLC. Nothing but DLC griping and bitching. But the critics over here are actually being fair. Metacritic, as he said, 80... Actually, I'm getting different readings. The Metacritic gave it 81 out of 100.
I'm looking at the Xbox One edition.
Alright. Well, this is on Steam. So, on GameSpot gave it an 8 out of 10. But these are the critics. The users, though, are being relentless, like Foster says here.
And the DLC isn't the game developer's fault. It's the publisher.
Not only that, the DLC doesn't matter with Evolve. The DLC is worthless DLC.
Right, it's cosmetic.
It's just cosmetic DLC. It's not like you're missing out on something key or you're not getting a weapon that you really want. It's all cosmetic.
Someone quoted Total Biscuit, and they said or no, it was Boogie, and they said it's mostly just people jumping on the all DLC is bad bandwagon. That's basically all it is. And whenever you boil the reviews down, it is mostly just bitching about cosmetics and how the season pass doesn't cover it. And I remember this dates back ages, cosmetic DLC, of course, but Black Ops 2, the season pass that you could buy didn't cover the camo skins, and that's really where it got a lot of vocal points. Yeah, a lot of people started bitching about it, and that's where it got a lot of movement. Here, though, I think they calculated it up to $140 worth of cosmetic DLC, and at that point, if you're bitching about, like I said, cosmetic DLC, it's just really a principle. It's a matter of principle you're bitching about that you're taking too far. You're not really looking at what it's offering other than that, and that's where you're going wrong, if this makes any sense. Hopefully I'm not just rambling.
Mm-hmm.
So, mostly it's just uneducated people jumping on a bandwagon, or just taking a principle too far and speaking for everyone else louder than they can for themselves, if that makes any sense. So,
I feel like when I was a kid, and even I'd say as far back or as recent, I guess, as 2011, people would rather speak about how much they enjoyed a game than how much they disliked a game that they ultimately enjoyed. Like, when you're a kid and you're playing a game, that's your game. And you're having fun with it in weird ways that maybe you're not even supposed to have fun. For instance, one of my favorite things about the original Halo is how many glitches it had. Which, if a game came out with a bunch of glitches,
nowadays,
that's awful. It gets a worse score. Back then, it was almost a feature. People loved it. They're like, this game's got so many cool glitches. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And now, instead of having fun with what you have, you're upset about what you don't. We're very glass half empty now in the gaming community, and I want that to change. And as much as I am against Nintendo right now for their horrible YouTube program, their community actually seems to get it.
You go on.
I've been looking at their community. They've been talking so positively about the games that have come out lately for the Wii U.
How many
and
games?
3DS.
How many games?
For the Wii U?
Yeah. How many? Like 4?
I'll tell you this, more than the next gen games.
Oh wow, so 5 maybe. Wow.
No. We can't trash talk the Wii U anymore.
Fair enough.
They won the console race of 2014. 2014 belongs to the Wii U. They won the year.
I never thought anyone would say that. I'm glad I finally found someone that agreed with me.
What?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, they definitely won 2014. You disagree?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, why
I
didn't
would
they
agree that they did.
Well,
They
look,
absolutely won.
Okay, maybe not even just the Wii U, but
Go ahead.
Nintendo.
Nintendo, period, won.
Yeah, with a new 3DS, yeah. God,
New
their marketing
Pokemon.
is such
No.
shit.
Listen for this. All right,
Okay.
I want you to tell me what 2014 games came out on the PlayStation 4 that you really enjoyed.
Fuck.
Yeah. Okay.
Drive Club? No one enjoyed that. It was fucking...
Okay. So
no.
what did you really enjoy on the PS4 in 2014?
Well,
Okay, now that you're stumbling, I'm going to hit you with something real
Alright.
hard here. You ready?
Alright, go ahead.
Bayonetta 2, Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. We're talking Mario Kart 8. We're talking Shovel Knight. We're talking Pokemon Omega Ruby?
Omega Ruby
Ruby.
Sapphire.
Yeah. These are fantastic games that are already beloved, and I hear a lot of people already saying that games like the new Super Smash Bros., especially on the DS, best of the series. The new Mario Kart, best of the series. They are loving the Wii U right now, to the point where I kind of wish I had a Wii U, or at the very least a 3DS or 2DS. They killed it this year.
So, mind you that I had to look up this because I didn't want to get my facts wrong here. And
Right.
just in case I made it sound worse than it actually is. In which case I would have, because I thought it came out in 2013. It was released around the 18th of November, 2012. So, Black Ops 2 days. And, Nintendo has never been a powerhouse in literal power with their consoles.
What?
But, Well, they haven't.
Yes, they have.
Granted, they have been
Well,
handheld.
they haven't in the past decade.
Yes.
But
Excuse
they
that.
have been
in the
before.
past decade. Yes, my apologies. With the Wii
Actually, in the
U-
past decade, they have too, because of the original Wii.
No, compared to
No,
the
the
360
Wii had,
and PS3.
No, like, I'm not trying to saying in terms of, like, are you saying powerhouse in terms of the power of their console, or is it in terms of the way it's
The
sold?
specs.
the power,
or technology.
The power, yes, the specs. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. The selling is
I almost
completely
forgot.
different.
They
but-
had what was
Huh?
that game everyone seems to dig? Silent Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Is that it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yes, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. I had to look it up. Captain
Everyone's talking about it. How did you not know? Silent.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Captain Toad.
It's
Treasure
Captain
Tracker.
Toad. It's Captain Toad, man. How
Are
fucking
you?
ridiculous.
I don't know if you're mocking it or not because
Yes.
people love Toad.
Who? I've never heard of
Toad,
this
Toad
game.
from Mario Kart, Super Mario.
Never heard of it. I'm sorry.
the-
Never heard of it.
You don't have a Wii U.
Hey,
Of course you haven't heard of
Hey,
it.
I'm not a hater on Nintendo. I bought the
You
fucking
just were
3DS
hating on it.
whenever it released. Come on, I love it.
All right, hold on. Evolve 4.9 user score. All right.
Out of 10? Fuck.
Yeah. All right. So what's a game that you've liked over the past year?
All right. Well, all jokes aside, Drive Club had a lot of progress made, and I think they had a lot of potential if they
All right.
fucking told us what kind of game it was. First.
All right.
off.
So Drive Club then.
All right, NHL. If that was released last year, but I've recently played it. Madden, once again
All right.
released last year, but I've recently played it.
All right, so
UFC
all those
released
games-
last year, recently played it. So, and I've
What
enjoyed
was
it.
that?
UFC, the newest UFC.
Okay, all those games that you just named,
Mm-hmm.
worse user score than Captain Toad Treasure Tracker.
And
Captain Toad
Okay.
Treasure Tracker, 8.6 out of 10.
wow, just beat the fuck out of my fight. Two people fighting Bruce Lee. Fucking God! Wow, a Toad. A Toad beats.
It's not just a Toad. It's Toad from Super Mario, who's been a beloved character since the original Super Mario Bros.
Since the 1500s. Wow, Foster.
What?
What?
Nah, you're trash talking on a character you shouldn't be trash talking on. People love Toad.
Okay.
People do
People-
love Toad.
People love Toad.
Oh. Well, look, I'm getting at not really the games. I'm getting at the power that they've put into the systems. And now
That's one thing I'm sick of. I'm sick of it's like, oh, you don't need tons of power to make something fun.
right, but shouldn't
You
you
need to
if it's
push.
next gen and you
Like,
say
if
it's next
anything,
gen,
Wii U has pushed that
it
into the
boast
line.
that? Shouldn't it at least stand up to other next gen items such
No.
as other handhelds like
No.
the PS Vita, for example?
No, it
Well,
just
why not?
You just need
Alright,
to be-
PlayStation
It's a video
Vita?
game. You play them to have fun.
Okay,
PlayStation
yes,
Vita.
but if
Here's
you are
the thing,
marketing
here's
it
what
as a
matters
hold on,
more.
Foster, if you are marketing as a next gen handheld system, it should at least compare to other next gen handhelds,
No,
or you should at least
no. I'm sick of this whole every console has to compare itself to the other console. No, they need to do their own freaking thing, and
What
just
is the most important is support for that console.
well, yes,
That's
but
the
I
most
also think that first it's the groundwork, not just what they can do in the next year with the fucking software. The
Right.
hardware is one of the most important
Did
parts
you-
of it.
It is. But
Okay.
did you buy Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?
No,
No?
no.
Exactly. Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Brothers,
Okay.
Pokemon Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire all outsold Advanced
Okay,
Warfare.
well, here's where you're wrong.
What?
Here's where your stats are wrong.
I just
No, look,
gave you stats that
with-
are true.
right. Well, with the next gen rolling in, or current gen PS4 and Expo now, the market is split. The pre-sales are so. Let me give you an example here. The what are they called? Pre-orders. Those were down across the board for Call of Duty in general, not just across the consoles. In general, the series was at an all-time low for pre-orders, which is good in other ways as well. But it was still one of the highest for the PS4 and Xbox marketplace. Even though they were the lowest Call of Duty has ever seen, they still topped the charts. What
Because
that means,
there wasn't anything to compete with
no,
it on
what
those
that means is the
consoles.
market is split. The market right now is transitioning from for PC it's to free to play, or to subscription based games. For next gen, it's more or less to indie games.
You know what I
and-
forgot?
What?
Hyrule Warriors.
Anyway,
Another
Foster,
huge game.
and
Done.
then
The Wii
Really
U
well.
kicked ass in 2014. I'm not making fun of it anymore because of the year it had.
Okay, well, with games, yes, sure. But with...
What else is there with a console?
Is it a console or is it a handheld? It's a white Wii U console.
Is a console.
Shit. So, wow. Just... See, here,
all right, time out. I'm doing...
Silent. Here's where...
Hold on. Saved by the Bell timeout.
Okay, whatever.
We should move on before we start going crazy with this, all right?
Well, let me at least tell Silent something. And I seem a bit... Okay, this is just getting fucking watery as fuck. I have a cup of water... Anyway, so, Silent, I respect that opinion. And I respect people who hold that. Because that really is what video games should be about. They shouldn't be about who is stronger than the other, who is prettier than the other. It should be about what's fun and what you enjoy playing. Like back in the PS2 and Xbox, the original Xbox days, it wasn't about whether or not you'd like to play fucking, the exclusive Star Wars games or the Jak and Daxter series. It was about what you found fun. And in that matter, that's what it came down to. But nowadays, although people will have shifting opinions, especially the average gamer who, absorbs more media than they put out, I think that the way the market is headed, with a lot of people being negative about games and comparing it to other consoles, for example, I think that is much better than the alternative. I think it's the lesser of the two devils at the very least. I think if people are comparing console to console, I think that's showing competitiveness. I think that's showing loyalty to an extent. And with games, I think if people are saying, oh, Sly Cooper was shit, but Jak and Daxter was great, I think that also shows some competition, and I think that shows a shift in the marketplace. I think people are more, that if they shit on something they don't like, most of the time, if it's the general public, that's the market shifting towards the games that they enjoy, which would, in result, make the developer shift as well with what they develop, if this makes any sense so far. With the Wii U, I think if they were to boast, or at least market the next-gen console, I think it should at least compare to other next-gen consoles. And
at the time it was released, there were no other consoles.
Well, there was the Xbox 360 and PS3, and although that was last gen...
Which has better performance in.
Okay, well, please link me the stats, because I was just about to go look it up. It has 1.24 gigahertz tri-core. It's called the Espresso. 2 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, so that's pretty good. Internal flash memory, 8 gigabytes, basic set, 32 deluxe, and USB storage device. I hope I made sense, by the way. I hope that wasn't just me rambling.
Oh, jeez! Whoops.
Wow. Okay.
Some websites, when you click on the the reviews, it autoplays, and I had my music blasting from when I was playing Darude sets.
Well, anyway, enough of me rambling on. Silent, I respect your opinion. I do actually... If I wasn't such a ne'er-do-well with my elitist mindset, I would definitely probably reach for that kind of a mindset. So, the Wii fucking sucked.
I think we can all agree what's better than the Wii U, the Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4. And that is the Sega Genesis.
Okay.
Yep, Sega Genesis. All the way.
So,
Genesis does what Xbone don't.
You're missing a T in the X-Bone.
What?
Anyway, so... What games are you guys playing nowadays, by the way?
Space Engineers and Medieval Engineers.
I saw you playing Space Engineers yesterday. You played it for like hours, didn't you?
I've been modding it.
Wow.
I've got Alright, I guess I'll tease it. I've got a new series coming out for Space Engineers that is really cool. It's... the best thing I can compare it to is Reverse Skyblock.
Ground block.
Kinda, yeah.
Or is it a ground hole?
Which sounds like nothing, but ground block in space? What?
Right, so... I don't know what that means, but okay.
You'll see. It's really cool. I'm super excited about it.
Is it mods like to add more items, or just overhaul mods?
I don't want to... I don't know. You kick my
your
dog.
Alright. Silent, what about you?
Man.
I haven't really been playing anything. I've been...
We've been playing Pixelmon.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess...
Oh, Pixelmon, yes.
Yeah.
Fill me in on the update for it. What's happened?
Silent, you know more about the update. For Pixelmon.
Yeah.
Which one? Like,
The
Depends
most
on
recent
how-
one.
The most recent one just added a bunch of items
Yeah.
and some abilities.
What happened to the graphics? I remember Foster mentioning how
Oh,
realistic
yeah,
they look.
they've updated a lot of Pokemon.
Hmm.
And they no longer look blocky. A lot of them are very smooth and really good looking. The bird Pokemon, particularly, look amazing right now. It's really crazy what the modding community has accomplished, to the point where I'd say Pixelmon, probably one of the top 5 Pokemon games.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You mentioned that to me. It's funnily enough, Minecraft has become the best Pokemon game out there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. That is so sad to see.
It's sad, but it's
Oh,
also
man.
going up against really good company. It's not sad as much as it is just plain impressive, because it's not like Pokemon games have gone down in quality. They're still... Pokemon games probably over the past 20 years have had the most consistently good games. The Game Freak titles, at least. Not,
Yeah, other ones. Yeah.
But, yeah, Minecraft, really good Pokemon game. Which hopefully Nintendo doesn't freak out about it, which they haven't really done anything about it yet, and it's been... Well, I think 2011 maybe was when the first Pixelmon beta came out. So
Wait, could they really do something about that though? Like, could they say we don't like you using our models, so stop? We're gonna, cease and desist.
they could shut down the website for sure.
What about the mod?
I don't know if they can't stop the mod from circulating at this point. For
Right.
sure they can't.
Right.
But they can also stop people maybe from playing it on YouTube, which I wouldn't like. The only thing that they're using, though, are the likeness of the Pokemon. Even the voices of the Pokemon, I think they're voiced by the community.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, okay, well here's this then, and feel free to correct me. Would Minecraft... I don't know about Mojang's policies, but I think that their sort of licensing would allow modders to use it as if it were like, a landscape for you to create art with, like a software, and you're just you're essentially creating artwork to test.
Yep.
Things like
But
that.
at this
if that
point,
makes
I wouldn't be
sense.
surprised if Nintendo went to a guy who does video game art and literally smeared crap all over his paintings, going, "This is ours! You can't use it!"
Yeah.
I don't know why. Okay, that reminded me so much of the Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage freaking out.
Can we watch
Well,
it? Can we watch it?
No,
right now?
we can't watch it yet. No.
Yes. Let's. All right. Fine. At the end of the podcast, can we watch it? That'll be the outro?
Well, you'll have to link it now everywhere
Yes.
you post this. I hope
Fuck
you know.
yeah! I will. I so will. Oh my god! This is.
It's great.
It's great. It's great.
Really, really. I love. Like, here's the thing. I'm actually a fan of Nicolas Cage. I know that he's become kind of a laughingstock. I think he's a pretty good actor when he has the right direction. But when he freaks out, it is just. It's delicious. That's the only way it can be described. Delicious.
I guess at the very least he commits to it, and he's
Oh, yeah.
passionate. He's passionate to say the least.
He gives
Can I
his
say
all.
that? Yeah.
Is that where you got your motivations from, Foster?
Yep.
No.
Is that, no.
That's just natural rage that boils to the top from time to time.
Let's see here. Nicholas. Oh, Nicolas Cage is going above Nicki Minaj. Wow, good for him.
Still not sure who that is.
I mean, I would hope.
I would not hope. I would only. assume.
Nicki Minaj is the woman in the video that I sent you where every time she twerked, it made a fart noise.
I never got that.
That's a great video.
I'd rather not watch that video.
It's hilarious. Every time she twerks, it makes fart noises. It's
I didn't get the memo.
me and Logan watched that. It was great.
Can you
All
send it to me?
I'll send it to you after this.
Awesome for science.
After all's said and done.
For science.
But speaking of all being said and done, I think we're just over an hour now.
yeah,
Or
I
just
would
before.
I would say subtract about 2 minutes, and I think that would be us. So, yeah, an hour and 4 minutes. So that's
Not
pretty
bad. Not bad.
cool. Now, go ahead, Simon. What's up? I love you.
Oh,
All right. Well, what? Anyway, so I got a question for you guys.
Stop touching his leg like that.
Fine. Silent. What? Anyway, so let me know if you guys don't want to answer this right now, or if we'll have to think about it. But the last time we did prank calls was probably the last time. Like,
That was the last
most
podcast.
enjoyable. Yeah, it was. And I think it was unanimous that was the most enjoyable and fun podcast that we had to date. Would you guys like to do that again?
Absolutely. Although, to be fair, I prank called you after we did that podcast. And you did not enjoy that at all.
What was that?
You don't remember?
Mm-hmm.
Was it the one where you
I did a little
dad?
freak out. It was,
Yep. I don't know.
It was awkward. It was really awkward. We thought you'd enjoy it. You got very
it was
angry.
Silent talking about your dad, and that like you took
Well, my lack thereof, yeah.
Here he goes again. Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty good. I
Yeah,
legitimately thought you were breaking
You were
down.
like getting really pissed off about it.
No, I wasn't. No. I was getting very like, oh man, shit, what's going down here? Like,
Yeah, well, once we revealed it
like,
to you,
time to buckle
you were
down.
upset. At least that's what it seemed like. You got upset after the reveal.
I don't think I was upset. I can't remember.
I
You
have
were
it
a
on
bit.
tape still. I
Was I?
have it
No.
recorded.
Well, Silent has a pretty good memory, so I'll take your word for it. Fuck you guys. There,
Oh,
now it's
wow.
true. Yeah, fuck you guys. 9 months too late. Fuck you. We're
Wow.
done. Podcast over. We're splitting up. There's
This-
it. There.
man.
9 months later, and I'm still pissed off. So yeah,
Oh, boy. So, yeah, that's the Pro Perks podcast.
yeah. Let's end it off with Nicolas Cage losing his shit, shall we?
We can't play that. That's copyright.
Fine by me.
No, it's not. You can't play it in the video. It's copyright.
Fine by me.
I don't know what you mean by fine by you. Is that
Fine by
okay,
me.
we're not going to play it, or okay, I'm going to play it anyway?
That's okay. I'm gonna play it anyway.
No,
Whatever-
no, listen.
Now, hold on. When I
this
post
is-
on YouTube,
listen,
I'll,
we have
I'll
to be
edit out the audio.
professionals.
We are. We are professionals.
Listen, all right, hold on. We can recreate it if
All
that
right, so,
would be
all right,
better.
Go ahead, try Foster. Let's go ahead and hear you recreate it.
Okay, Foster. You're a vampire.
I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
I don't know
I
what's
think
after
that's
that.
all I've got for now.
Yeah. You forgot the start of it where he's like, yeah,
I don't wanna do that one.
You forgot that one.
I'm not going to do loud moans coming from my apartment.
I will. Hey, you're
I already
neighbors
get
are-
weird calls from friggin' neighbors being like, what the hell's going on? So,
Makes me more worried about the other neighbors that are making a Frankenstein.
That's true. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Until next time, this is Foster the Canadian. I'm pointing at Grey,
GreyShamrock,
pointing at Silent.
and the best motherfucker out
You are.
Yeah, saying see ya.
Hey guys, just a reminder that this is the very first podcast of the Pro Perks series that was on Podbean, SoundCloud, and of course the very original YouTube. YouTube is our home, and if you would like to come and subscribe to either of our channels, by all means, go ahead. Silent doesn't have a channel, but I do, where I host the Pro Perks podcast. Foster, of course, does with his gaming channel and outstanding content. And there is, of course, our friends and our fellow YouTubers who we record with, or who we create content with, who we collaborate in general with. This song that you're listening to right now is actually by my good friend Cheshire, who you can find on my channel if you go and look into the sub box, or you can go to his channel directly at youtube.com/realcheshiremusic. Cheshire with a 3 instead of an E at the very beginning. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and hope to see you next week. Take it easy.